First of all, let me ask something. Does anyone know about the 1973 oil crisis? The 1973 oil crisis was an event that happened when Arabian countries decided to stop exporting oil. So the entire world ran low on gas, and gas prices skyrocketed, resulting in economic chaos globally. People couldn't drive, businesses had to shut down, resulting in a stock market crash. People went through some hard times then. But what if I told you that something like that could happen again? According to an estimate made by British Petroleum in 2014, there is only 53 years' use worth of petroleum left. In 53 years, we may meet the chaos that happened in 1973 again. It is apparent that something definitely has to change. But the problem is, oil is so directly entangled into our economy that removing oil from the economy will cause the entire economy to collapse altogether. So we will have to take a more clever approach. That clever approach is something called sustainable development. Sustainable development is development that can fulfill today's demands without hampering the ability for our descendants to meet their own demands. The guidelines for sustainable development are a set of goals called the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. Developed by the United Nations Development Program, 17 SDGs look into every affair on the globe, from air pollution to famines to fish in the sea. Of those 17 SDGs, the one most closely related to oil conservation is SDG 12. SDG 12, Responsible Consumption and Production, aims to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns worldwide. To ensure this, SDG 12 enforces reduction of raw material consumption, reduction of waste production, and elimination of market distortions that produce inefficiencies in consumption and production. Apply this to our oil problem, and then we see multiple ways we can use to conserve our oil. The first is biofuels. Biofuels are an alternative to fossil fuels that are created through biological processes. Biofuels can be made from plants, which can be grown infinitely, and biofuels are much quicker to make than oil. Another is turning plastic into oil. The idea behind this is simple. If plastic is made from oil, why can't we turn plastic back into oil? A company called Pyrolysis is doing just that. Through a process called pyrolysis, plastic is broken down and turned back into crude oil. This is also the thing that inventor Akinari Ito tried to do. It did do. Pyrolysis is the process of thermally decomposing materials in a high temperature and inert environment. The high temperature decomposition changes the chemical composition of the material and turns something that you don't want into something that you want. In this case, plastic to oil. Changing plastic into oil has the benefit of adding extra oil to the limited supply of oil that we have today, and it also has the effect of reducing plastic waste, thereby killing two birds with one stone. But without government assistance, none of this will be effective. In developing nations, quick development is preferred over slow but sustainable development, resulting in utilization of energy and resource-heavy methods of consumption and production. Governments of developing nations need to realize that their current way of development won't last them, and sustainable development will be better for both them and all of humanity in the long run, and implement the sustainable development goals into their policies to ensure that they will have sustainable development in the end. In the end, new technologies, government policies, and effort from citizens need to harmonize to achieve sustainable development and prevent the nightmare of suddenly running out of oil ever from happening. Also, the biased time to think of what to do when we do run out of oil is ever more important to conserve the oil we have today. Thank you.